All right, so we're talking about The Nun. Before I start, I would like to very clearly state that I support the WGA and SAG after strikes. I am on strike with you in my heart. I am not currently a member of either guild, but I plan to be in the future a member of both guilds. And none of the reviews that I'm doing, especially the one today, will be in any way trying to undermine the strikes. SAG has let YouTubers, influencers, people who make content know that we are able to cover movies and TV during the strike. This is not a paid promotion. This is just me giving my thoughts. So I watched The Nun after going to see The Nun 2, and I enjoyed it. So I watched the first one. I love the Conjuring movies. I'm new into horror, but I'm not a huge fan of like exorcism horror, like all of the horror that has to do with all of the spirits and the demons and all of that, because that stuff is real. I watched the Conjuring movies because they're based on true stories, and I really enjoyed them. All three. But I've never watched any of the spin-offs. Like I've never watched Annabelle, any of the Annabelles. I've never watched The Nun prior to now. If I had not watched the Conjuring movies, which I don't necessarily think you have to watch this movie, but which I'll explain in a second. If you didn't see the Conjuring movies, the threat of the Nun is not really, it's kind of non-existent. I know the Nun is scary because I've seen the Conjuring movies. But in the Nun, it was very like, it was full of jump scares, and the jump scares scared me. They got me. A lot of them, not all of them, but some of them. I'm trying to remember because I watched them both in the same day. So I'm trying to separate them in my head. I don't think there's any deaths other than the very first death, which kind of kicks it all off. And it's technically not the nun's fault. The first death. The nun isn't a huge physical threat to anyone. There are things that happen that are like, ooh, that was dangerous. But like the nun has very, very many opportunities to like directly kill someone and doesn't. But that being said, I don't think it was a bad movie. So, characters. The characters, I watched The Nun 2 first. So I had the benefit of like having seen the character development in that movie. If I take a step back and forget all of the stuff that happened in The Nun 2, the characters in The Nun 1 are not fleshed out at all. Oh, maybe I should do a plot summary. What happens in The Nun is there's I believe they call it cloistered convent. So basically a convent where the nuns don't go outside of the convent at all. The opening of the movie is two nuns are trying to get some key away from the nun. Valak is the demon's name. We find out later. Actually, we might have found that out in The Conjuring. That may be me mixing movies. One of the nuns gets killed by off screen by the nun. We assume, and then the other nun throws herself out of the building with a rope attached around her neck and dies. And then a man who does delivers and discovers the dead body. They call in a priest and tell him to go get an unconfirmed nun. She's had visions that relate to this issue. Her backstory is her mother was taken away. She had visions, and her husband thought she was crazy, so she went to a mental asylum. The unconfirmed nun also has visions, and so she gets involved. Basically, that's kind of the gist of it. The character I feel with the biggest character difference is the guy. Maurice is his name. The Frenchie they call him. in the first movie, is a very like, he's young, you can tell he gets around, he's flirting with the unconfirmed nun. Man, Talisa Farmiga. But anyway, he is a drastically different person in The Nun 2, and I'll talk about that in that video. It just was funny to me watching the second one and then watching the first one and being like, this is really supposed to be the same character. And he goes through some stuff that I'm like, okay, maybe that explains it, but the movie, suffice it to say, the movie doesn't do a great job of explaining character, why people are the way that they are, why they do what they do. He kind of just sticks around because an innate sense of righteousness and goodness, and he thinks they're gonna die, so he's like, well, let me go help, because he brings a shotgun, which, you know, I mean, when fighting demons, I'm not sure how much that does or doesn't do, you know, but that's his prerogative. That's why he sticks around. So it's basically those three characters, and then they go to the convent, and they meet this lady, the abbess, I think, who's like the reverend mother of the convent. The unconfirmed nun meets, I wish I could remember her name, meets all of these other nuns throughout, not all of these, a handful of other nuns. And then crazy stuff starts happening. You know, she's getting the backstory of Valak, the nun, through these other nuns. But then, spoiler, it turns out that all of the nuns in the convent are dead, long dead. For whatever reason, Valak decided to tell on herself. The demon gave them all the information that they needed, both backstory, like how this happened, how I'm here, and also like, this is how to defeat me, which, interesting choice. So it just kind of is like, the plot was all right. I guess they had held that, I was going to say, I guess they held that reveal pretty well, but at the very beginning, the two nuns who end up dying say we're the last ones. So I'm like, there was never a point where I was like surprised that, oh, all of the nuns are dead. You know what I mean? Like you said it in the beginning. You said it. So it wasn't surprising. And again, it just kind of like undoes like character motivations when you're like, why is Valak giving illusions of people who are telling her business to the people who are trying to defeat her? That don't make no sense, but it's okay. I enjoyed the movie. It did give me, I watched it at night. I intended to watch it during the day because I went to watch the second one in the morning, and then I came home and started to watch the first one, and then I decided to take a nap, and when I woke up from the nap it was dark, but I wanted to finish the movie. And I live in an old house that creaks a lot. Like there's no reason for any of these things to be creaking. The stairs will creak, the walls will creak, the ceiling creaks. It's like, okay, so all of that is happening as I'm watching the movie at night, and jump scares and jump scares and jump scares, you know. So it definitely did get me that night. I think it was an interesting addition to the Conjuring universe. I'm not sure how necessary it was, especially because at the end there's a post-credit scene, spoilers, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, their characters teaching a class or whatever, and they're showing a video of them exorcising Maurice, and like upside down crosses are appearing under his skin, and you know, and that happens at the end of the movie, so I forgot to get to that part. They defeat Valak with the blood of Jesus, which is in like a little vial that was hidden inside the convent, which is why the nuns in the beginning needed to keep that key from Valak. And I guess you could explain it like Valak told them how to defeat her so that they would go find the blood so that she could steal it and destroy it, I guess. So you think she's destroyed. It's kind of campy and funny, but I enjoyed it a lot. And I called it like way before it happened. There's like random flooding, and Valak's like, you know, the meme with the dog where he's just like shoving the guy underwater. It's that basically. Valak doing that to the unconfirmed nun, and she has the vial in her hand, and it's underwater. And then at some point it like comes near her mouth, and I'm like, oh, she's gonna break it and like hold the blood in her mouth and spit it in Valak's face. That's exactly what happened. Valak thinks, oh, she's dead because she stops moving. So she, for whatever reason, instead of just leaving her in the water, pulls her up out of the water in front of the nun's face and is like, ha ha ha, whatever. There's no laughing, but you know. And she pops open and spits blood in her face. And so she melts and the blood gets in the water. So the water, Valak's sitting in the water's, you know, swirling and whatever, and it goes down this whirlpool, but not, because they're still flooding. In the scene before that, Valak had Maurice by the throat. We discovered later, at the end of the movie, that Valak possessed Maurice. So at the end of the movie, when they're going and they think they've defeated Valak, an upside down cross appears on the back of his neck. So we're getting back to where I was at. So what I was saying was upside down crosses appearing out of his body, right? They're showing this video. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga's characters are showing the video to a class. And I think it's been a long time since I've seen The Conjuring, but I think it's the lady from the first Conjuring who gets possessed, who's in the audience, or maybe it's the second one, because whoever gets possessed, somebody gets possessed by Valak in one of the movies, I think. Again, it's been a long time. I am pretty sure it's that lady who's sitting in the audience, watching them, because we get like a very dramatic, like, here's the crowd and here's this person kind of shot. So they exorcise Maurice, but because of what happens in The Nun 2, it like really makes that confusing. I'm still not sure how it all fits together now. I'm not sure if it was a retcon or if it fits together, and I just don't know the timeline that well, but I'll talk more about that in the second video. If you have enjoyed this video and want to see the second part, The Nun 2 review, like, subscribe, and comment, and it will be up next week. I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys. Like, follow, subscribe, all of those things. If you love me. If you don't love me, don't do those things, you know, because why would you care? If you think you could love me, do those things, because I'll be here every week. You guys are gonna keep me accountable.